Hey there, the Nature Geek here. Do you hear that? That's the sound of the Canada Goose. Many of us are familiar with Canada geese, whether through hunting, watching migrating flocks overhead, or feeding them at a park. Let's take a look at how the life of a Canada Goose compares to our own.
There is more diversity to the Canada Goose than meets the eye. At least 7 subspecies have been recognized, although most we wouldn't be able to recognize ourselves. In the west, Canada geese are darker, and in the north, the geese are smaller, which interestingly goes against the general rule of thumb in nature that northern animals are usually larger than their southern counterparts. The smallest 4 forms of the Canada goose, also once classified as subspecies, are now considered a separate species called the cackling goose. This reminds us of another animal that is a part of many humans' lives, the domestic dog. All of our domestic dog species, from the smallest to the largest, are subspecies of their wolf ancestors. Thankfully, it's easier to tell these subspecies apart than it is Canada geese.
You know, I'm getting a bit hungry. Do you mind if I grab something to eat really quick? I've got a craving for a really nice salad.
When it comes to its meals, a Canada goose loves nothing more than a big salad of its own. Geese eat a lot of grass, but also love seeds and berries, especially in the fall and winter. 2 of the geese subspecies have adapted so well to our human environments that they eat nothing but lawn grass year-round, acting as feathered lawnmowers and fertilizers. Hiding in plain sight in this flock are the young geese that not too long ago were fluffy yellow goslings. This year's goslings will remain with their parents for up to an entire year.
That's a pretty long time for a bird. Well, what if we translated this into human years?
All right, kid, you've got it easy now, but once you turn 3, you're out of here.
At this time of year, there's a lot of empty nesters that are getting ready to spend the winter in warmer climates.
Florida, here I come.
While others are perfectly content to stay put.
Woohoo! Snow! Canada geese may or may not migrate south for the winter, depending on where they are. In general, the further south you go in the goose's range, the more likely it is to stay put in colder months. As long as they have access to food and open water, Canada geese flocks are quite content to stay where they are, relying on their dense feather plumage to keep them warm on even the coldest of days. Increases in the average temperature due to climate change and the amount of waste grain due to farming practices have had big influence on resident goose populations.
In our lives, there are times that we get into trouble and we need help. What do we do?
Hey, Quentin, I think there's something really wrong with my leg. Could you take me to the hospital? Thanks. With Canada geese, things aren't as easy. Geese can become injured on their feet, legs, or other parts of the body from fishing line and hooks, rope, and other discarded trash. Unable to remove the entanglements themselves, geese can become injured, infected, or even permanently lose part of their leg. Although there are wildlife clinics that can treat injured geese, they are extremely hard to catch.
And believe me, I've tried.
The best way to treat an injured goose is to prevent the injury from happening in the first place, by always properly disposing of your trash.
The Canada goose is a familiar bird to many of us, especially during the fall. Hopefully, after learning a bit more about how the life of a Canada goose compares to our own, this bird will be even a bit more familiar. See you next time.